Hey, Church of the King Youth. Welcome to the kickoff of our 6-week spiritual growth campaign entitled Perspective Shift. I'm Pastor David, and let me throw a question your way as we get started. Have you ever felt like life's got you chained down, overwhelmed by negative frustrations in relationships, in school, and work? If that hits close to home, you're in the right place. This series is your ticket to breaking free from the weight and defeat that you might feel day to day. God created you for life and freedom, even in the toughest circumstances. Today, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to settle for feeling defeated, because God can and will give you the ability to rise above your circumstances through His supernatural joy. So, how do we go from feeling weighed down to living a life full of joy? All it takes is a perspective shift. Before we dive in, let me share a bit about my own journey. I've been right where you are, feeling broken by life circumstances, tempted to quit. So I get it. I remember once I was at church and I'd been so overwhelmed by everything I was going through. I was sitting in the chair and I remember thinking to myself as a high schooler, I'd maybe been saved about a year. I remember thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I need something extra. What I didn't realize is that I was living out of my own strength and I was yet to experience God's supernatural joy. As worship started, I chose to stand and make myself begin to worship God, because I realized even though my circumstances were tough, it didn't change who God was. I'll never forget, in that moment, as I lifted my hands and I lifted my voice, God filled me with His supernatural joy. I went from feeling low and overwhelmed to being filled with something I'd never experienced before. And you can too. Maybe you've been there before. In fact, maybe you're there right now, feeling overwhelmed by life. I can tell you this. You made the right decision to join your group. Now let's talk about someone who truly lived with a perspective shift, the Apostle Paul. His life transformed after meeting Jesus, going from a religious leader who persecuted Christians to a dedicated, passionate follower of Jesus. Even though he ended up in prison multiple times, the book of Philippians was written in one of those dark prison cells. Can you believe that? That in the midst of his chains, he encouraged believers that they could experience true joy despite tough circumstances. And what was the secret? Having the mind of Christ. Philippians 2:5 says, "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus." So what's this perspective shift all about? One that impacted my life was understanding the difference between joy and happiness. They are very different things. Happiness is circumstantial, while joy is relational between us and God. Happiness is temporary, it's fleeting, it's based upon what we go through. Joy, on the other hand, is lasting and eternal. It's not based on circumstances, but on our relationship with Jesus. He fills us, He is our source. In John 15:11, Jesus says, "These things I've spoken to you, that my joy may remain in you, and that your joy may be full." Happiness seems to be a destination often to the world, where joy is a daily decision. Just like the story I shared, I had to choose to lean into God despite what I was feeling, and He filled me with His joy. Joy is a daily decision, not a one-time destination. Paul reminds us in Philippians 1:6 that God will complete the good work He has started in us. That is good news. Joy is not about a single destination to get to. It's about daily choices where we choose God and we choose His joy along the way. Happiness can feel like a vacation. It comes and goes. But what I love about God's joy, it's rooted in our relationship with Jesus. And it's daily and it's a continuous journey. Now, there's nothing wrong with happiness, but living solely for it can set us up for failure because it is based on our life circumstances. So what's the key? And I love this. Lean in today if you're listening. Keep our eyes on our relationship with Jesus. It is a continual journey, a daily choice to walk in His joy. So what can you do today to pursue the joy of the Lord instead of the momentary happiness of circumstances? Number one, you can commit your life to Jesus. If you're in small group or you're listening to this and you've never given your life to Jesus, I want to let you know it is the greatest decision that you will ever make. In order to receive His joy, first you got to know Him. Second of all, you can commit to your group. Don't just make this a one-time thing or a fleeting thing where you come and go. I want to encourage you to be committed. Show up every week ready to hear from God and learn more about Him. You can read your daily devotional. We have a youth devotional for you to read on Perspective Shift. And as well as being at Limitless and being at church on the weekend and being at your small group, you can grow with God every day. And like I just said, my final point for you, attend church each weekend. We want you to hear from our senior pastor. We want you to be with a community of believers of different generations, not just growing by yourself with people your age, but seeing how God is moving across generations and in this church. So, Church of the King Youth, let's embark on this journey together. Stay committed, stay connected, and let's choose joy daily. We love you, and we'll see you next time.